Napoleon Hill, best known for his groundbreaking work Think and Grow Rich often explored the transformative power of love, not just romantic love, but love as a force that fuels purpose, ambition, and human connection. While he didn't write extensively about love in the traditional poetic sense, his philosophy is deeply rooted in the idea that love is essential to success, fulfillment, and personal growth. One of his most poignant reflections is, "Love attracts only one thing, and that thing is love." A simple yet profound truth that reminds us that the energy we give is the energy we receive. He also wrote, "You may be hurt if you love too much, but you will live in misery if you love too little," which speaks to the courage required to love fully, even at the risk of pain. Hill believed that love, when combined with desire and faith, becomes an unstoppable force. He saw love not as a distraction from success, but as its very foundation. In his view, love inspires creativity, sharpens the mind, and gives us the emotional resilience to overcome failure. He once said, "If you love, absolutely love what you are doing, chances are excellent that it will enable you to develop persistence," linking love directly to the perseverance needed to achieve greatness. For Hill, love was not confined to relationships. It was a mindset, a way of approaching life with passion, empathy, and purpose. He encouraged people to develop love for all humanity, understanding that a negative attitude toward others could never bring success. In this way, love becomes a guiding principle, shaping how we treat others, how we pursue our goals, and how we define our legacy. His words remind us that love is not weakness. It is strength, clarity, and the spark behind every meaningful achievement. Whether in the quiet moments of self-reflection or the bold pursuit of a dream, Hill's philosophy teaches us that love is the invisible thread that ties all success together. Napoleon Hill's philosophy doesn't just touch on love. It elevates it to a driving force behind all human achievement. When he spoke of desire, faith, and persistence, the cornerstones of success in Think and Grow Rich he often underscored that love is what sustains those attributes through adversity. He believed love acts as both a motivator and a compass. It sharpens our intuition, helping us make wiser choices, and it gives us the energy to keep striving when everything else falters. Hill famously emphasized that no man is successful without a woman behind him. Not just in terms of romantic partnership, but as a broader acknowledgement of emotional support, empathy, and inspiration that love provides. In Hill's view, love creates a high vibration of energy, what he called a positive mental attitude. This isn't just about feeling good. According to him, our thoughts and emotions carry frequencies, and love operates at one of the highest. When we align our thoughts with love, be it love for a partner, a purpose, or a passion, we access a higher state of creativity, discipline, and clarity. Love, then, is not an indulgence or a distraction, it's the source of our power. Hill extended this to the idea of the mastermind, a concept where two or more minds work in harmony toward a common goal. When those minds are bound not just by logic but by mutual respect, trust, and yes, love, the results are extraordinary. He also believed that love tempers ambition. It ensures that our desire for wealth or status doesn't become greed. Love brings balance. It reminds us that success is hollow without relationships, without giving back, without uplifting others. This aligns with his urging to maintain harmony in all human relationships, because resentment, envy, and hatred are forces that corrode not only the soul, but also the fruits of one's labor. There's another profound idea Hill offered, that emotions are more powerful than reason, and among emotions, love is the most potent. He acknowledged that love makes us vulnerable, but he also viewed this vulnerability as strength. It is through love that we forge resilience. We suffer, we heal, and we grow. Without love, he argued, we might succeed in a material sense, but never feel truly fulfilled. In the vast tapestry of Hill's teachings, love is a golden thread, subtle but strong, quietly holding everything together. Whether you're navigating a relationship, chasing a dream, building a legacy, or simply trying to live a meaningful life, Hill's message rings clear. Let love lead. Let it inspire your vision, guide your actions, and infuse your journey with purpose. Hill's reflections on love extend even further into the realm of imagination, intuition, and the unseen forces that shape our lives. He often emphasized that love, when harmonized with desire and faith, unlocks a creative channel within us. In this state, our minds become more receptive to inspired ideas, what Hill called infinite intelligence. It's as if love opens a gateway to higher reasoning, allowing us to access thoughts, decisions, and solutions that might otherwise remain hidden. He believed that love elevated not only our emotional capacity, but our intellectual and spiritual reach as well. One particularly illuminating aspect of Hill's thought is how he linked love with the power of the subconscious mind. According to him, emotions act as the medium through which thoughts are planted into our subconscious, and love is the most potent of these emotions. This means that when we pursue our goals with love, true, deep, passionate love, we impress those desires more deeply into our subconscious, increasing the likelihood of their manifestation. For Hill, this wasn't merely psychological, it bordered on the spiritual. He often wrote of tuning in to higher frequencies and trusting that the universe responds to thoughts backed by genuine emotion and love. He also explored how love fosters harmony, not just in romantic relationships, but in friendships, business partnerships, and communities. He noted that any form of collaboration devoid of mutual respect and care is doomed to fail. Harmony, which love naturally generates, is essential for building trust and maintaining shared vision. This principle is at the core of his mastermind concept. No true synergy can be achieved without emotional alignment. Love, then, isn't a soft idea. It's a strategic necessity for long-term collaboration and impact. Hill didn't shy away from the challenges of love, either. He acknowledged that love demands vulnerability and often invites risk. But to him, that was precisely what made it powerful. Love softens the ego, opens the heart, and connects us more deeply to both our purpose and other people. He wrote that all great achievement is the result of motive, and he implied that the purest and most enduring motive is love, be it for family, service, innovation, or spiritual growth. As his writings suggest, when love becomes the foundation of our decisions, we build not only success but significance. In a world that often exalts cold calculation, Hill invites us to remember that our greatest strength lies not in intellect alone, but in our capacity to care deeply. Letting love steer the ship doesn't mean abandoning strategy. It means imbuing it with soul. Another powerful dimension of Napoleon Hill's teachings is how he viewed love as the spark behind all innovation. To him, the greatest minds were not moved solely by logic or ambition, but by a passion that borders on obsession, a kind of love for their craft, their mission, or the people they serve. He described love as the fuel for sustained enthusiasm, which in turn drives the habits and rituals that create excellence. Without love, even talent stagnates, but with it, the ordinary becomes extraordinary. Hill wrote extensively about the 6 basic fears that paralyze people, like fear of poverty or criticism, and suggested that love, as a positive and high-frequency emotion, has the power to cancel those fears out. It acts as an antidote to doubt, a motivator through failure, and a North Star in times of confusion. Hill also spoke of transmutation, the process of converting one form of energy into another. He believed that sexual energy, one of the strongest human impulses, could be redirected into creativity, leadership, and personal magnetism when harmonized with love. This principle wasn't about denial, but transformation. Love, he argued, channels raw emotion into something beautiful and productive. When a person is deeply in love or filled with love for a purpose, their emotional energy rises to its highest potential. They think clearer, act more decisively, and often produce results that are far beyond what they'd achieve by logic alone. There's also a deeply spiritual undertone in Hill's concept of love. He frequently mentioned infinite intelligence, a higher power or universal force that one can tap into through faith and emotion. Love, in this light, becomes a sacred bridge connecting the human to the divine. In moments of profound love, whether for a person, an idea, or a spiritual calling, Hill believed we receive guidance, clarity, and strength from this unseen source. It's not just a poetic idea. He framed it as a practical truth. Those who align themselves with love gain access to insight, wisdom, and opportunity that remain hidden to those driven by fear or selfishness. Finally, Hill reminded us that love, to be truly powerful, must be shared. It's not enough to feel love, we must express it in our actions, our words, and the way we treat others. Success built without love is often brittle, but success grounded in love endures. It uplifts not just the achiever, but everyone around them. It turns wealth into generosity, leadership into mentorship, and legacy into inspiration. Napoleon Hill's insights into love also touch on the transformative power it has over our character and destiny. He believed that love refines us. It polishes the rough edges of ego, impatience, and fear, and replaces them with empathy, humility, and courage. In his view, love is not just an emotion, but a discipline, a conscious choice to act with integrity and compassion even when it's difficult. This is especially evident in his emphasis on self-mastery. Hill taught that to truly succeed, one must first conquer the self, and love, both for oneself and others, is the most effective tool for that conquest. He often spoke of the other self, a higher version of ourselves that emerges in moments of deep emotional clarity, especially love. This other self is more intuitive, more generous, and more aligned with purpose. Hill believed that when we operate from this elevated state, we make better decisions, attract better opportunities, and live more meaningful lives. Love, then, becomes the catalyst for personal evolution. It's not just about feeling good, it's about becoming good. Hill also warned against the absence of love. He observed that many people chase success out of fear of failure, poverty, or insignificance. But fear-based ambition, he argued, is unsustainable. It leads to burnout, disconnection, and ultimately dissatisfaction. Love-based ambition, on the other hand, is regenerative. It fuels us without draining us. It connects us to others instead of isolating us. And it leaves behind a legacy that's not just impressive, but inspiring. In his writings, Hill encouraged readers to cultivate love in all areas of life, not just in romance, but in work, in service, in learning, and in leadership. He believed that love is what gives our efforts meaning. A task done with love, no matter how small, carries more power than a grand gesture done out of obligation or ego. This idea echoes through his famous quote, "If you love, absolutely love what you are doing, chances are excellent that it will enable you to develop persistence." Love, in this sense, is the secret ingredient that turns effort into excellence. Napoleon Hill's wisdom on love continues to unfold like a wellspring of insight, especially when we consider how he viewed love as the foundation of all meaningful human progress. He believed that love is not just a feeling, it's a force that shapes our thoughts, our actions, and ultimately, our destiny. In his writings, Hill often emphasized that love is the emotional state that most effectively bridges the conscious and subconscious mind. When we are in a state of love, whether for a person, a purpose, or a dream, we are more aligned with our deepest truths and most authentic desires. One of Hill's most touching quotes is, "Love attracts only one thing, and that thing is love." This simple yet profound idea reflects the law of attraction at its most essential level. What we give out emotionally, we draw back into our lives. Love, then, becomes a magnet for abundance, not just in relationships, but in opportunities, creativity, and fulfillment. He also wrote, "You may be hurt if you love too much, but you will live in misery if you love too little." A reminder that the risk of love is far outweighed by the emptiness of its absence. Hill's teachings also suggest that love is the antidote to fear. In his framework, fear is the great enemy of success, and love is its most powerful counterforce. When we act from love, we act from a place of courage, clarity, and connection. We stop worrying about failure or judgment and start focusing on contribution and growth. This is why Hill encouraged people to develop love for all humanity, understanding that a heart filled with love cannot harbor resentment, envy, or bitterness, all of which are barriers to success. He also believed that love sharpens our intuition. When we are emotionally invested in something or someone, we become more attuned to subtle signals and inner guidance. This heightened awareness can lead to better decisions, deeper relationships, and more inspired action. Love, in this sense, is not just emotional, it's strategic. It helps us navigate life with greater wisdom and grace. And perhaps most beautifully, Hill saw love as the ultimate legacy. He believed that the most successful people are those who leave behind not just wealth or achievements, but love expressed through mentorship, generosity, creativity, and service. In this way, love becomes immortal. It lives on in the lives we touch and the hearts we inspire. Napoleon Hill's reflections on love also intersect with his broader philosophy of personal magnetism and influence. He believed that love enhances our ability to lead, not through domination, but through inspiration. A leader who operates from love earns loyalty, fosters collaboration, and builds trust. Hill often emphasized that people are drawn to those who radiate warmth, sincerity, and purpose. Love, in this sense, becomes a silent yet powerful force that amplifies our presence and deepens our impact. He also explored how love influences our self-image. According to Hill, the way we see ourselves determines the quality of our thoughts, and by extension, the quality of our lives. When we cultivate self-love, not arrogance, but genuine appreciation for our worth, we begin to expect more from life and from ourselves. This shift in expectation changes our behavior, our decisions, and ultimately, our outcomes. Hill's message is clear. Love yourself enough to dream big, to take risks, and to persist through setbacks. Another compelling idea in Hill's work is that love is a form of spiritual alignment. He often spoke of infinite intelligence, a universal force that responds to our deepest intentions. Love, he believed, is the emotional frequency that best aligns us with this higher power. When we act from love, we are more likely to receive intuitive nudges, serendipitous opportunities, and inner peace. It's as if love tunes us into a cosmic rhythm where everything begins to flow more effortlessly. Hill also warned that without love, even the most brilliant plans can falter. He observed that many people fail not because they lack talent or resources, but because they lack emotional alignment. They pursue goals out of fear, obligation, or ego, and eventually burn out. Love, by contrast, sustains us. It gives us the emotional fuel to keep going, the clarity to course-correct, and the joy to celebrate the journey. In essence, Hill's teachings invite us to see love not as a luxury, but as a necessity. It is the heartbeat of purpose, the soul of success, and the light that guides us through uncertainty. Whether we are building a business, nurturing a relationship, or simply trying to live with more meaning, Hill's wisdom reminds us that love is the most powerful force we can harness. Napoleon Hill's philosophy continues to reveal how love is not only a personal virtue, but a practical force for transformation in every area of life. He often emphasized that love is the emotional current that energizes our thoughts and gives them creative power. In his view, thoughts backed by love are more likely to influence the subconscious mind, which in turn shapes our habits, decisions, and ultimately our destiny. This is why he insisted that love must be present in our goals, not just as a feeling, but as a driving force that gives our ambitions soul and staying power. One of Hill's most compelling ideas is that love is the foundation of emotional intelligence. Long before the term became popular, he understood that success is not just about intellect or strategy. It's about how we relate to others, how we manage our emotions, and how we inspire trust. Love, he believed, is what allows us to lead with empathy, to listen deeply, and to build relationships that are not only productive but deeply fulfilling. In this way, love becomes a leadership skill, a business asset, and a spiritual practice all at once. He also spoke of love as a harmonizing force. In a world full of conflict and competition, Hill saw love as the energy that brings people together, aligns them around a shared vision, and dissolves the barriers of ego and fear. Whether in a marriage, a friendship, or a business partnership, he believed that love creates the conditions for synergy, where the whole becomes greater than the sum of its parts. This is the essence of his mastermind principle, that two or more minds, working in harmony and fueled by mutual respect and love, can achieve what no one person could alone. Hill's writings also suggest that love is the key to resilience. When we are connected to something or someone we love, we find the strength to endure hardship, to rise after failure, and to keep going when logic says we should quit. Love gives us a reason to persist, a reason to believe, and a reason to hope. It transforms obstacles into stepping stones and setbacks into setups for comebacks. And perhaps most importantly, Hill believed that love is the essence of a life well lived. He urged us not to measure success by wealth or fame, but by the depth of our relationships, the sincerity of our service, and the joy we bring to others. In his words and in his legacy, we find a timeless truth, that love is not just part of the journey, it is the destination. Napoleon Hill's understanding of love also extended into the realm of legacy, what we leave behind not just in material terms, but in emotional and spiritual impact. He believed that the most enduring success is one that uplifts others, and love is the force that makes this possible. In his view, a life driven by love naturally becomes a life of service. Whether through mentorship, generosity, or simply living with integrity, Hill taught that love compels us to contribute to the world in meaningful ways. He also emphasized that love is a choice we make daily. It's not just something we feel, it's something we do. It's in the patience we show, the encouragement we offer, the forgiveness we extend. Hill believed that these small, consistent acts of love are what build character and credibility. Over time, they shape not only how others see us, but how we see ourselves. In this way, love becomes a mirror, reflecting our highest potential back to us. Another powerful insight from Hill is that love is the great equalizer. No matter our background, education, or resources, we all have the capacity to love, and in doing so, to elevate ourselves and those around us. He saw love as the one force that transcends all barriers, dissolves all divisions, and unites us in our shared humanity. This is why he urged people to develop love for all humanity, recognizing that true success cannot exist in isolation. It must be rooted in connection, compassion, and community. Hill's teachings also suggest that love is the foundation of faith. When we love deeply, whether it's a person, a purpose, or a vision, we naturally develop faith in it. We believe in its value, its potential, and its power to endure. This faith, in turn, gives us the courage to act, to risk, and to persevere. Love and faith, then, become partners in the pursuit of greatness. Hill's reflections on love also illuminate how it shapes our inner world, our thoughts, beliefs, and emotional resilience. He believed that love is the emotional soil in which all other virtues grow: patience, kindness, courage, and even wisdom. When we nurture love within ourselves, we become more receptive to growth and more capable of transforming adversity into opportunity. Hill often emphasized that the most successful individuals are those who have cultivated a deep emotional intelligence, and love is at the heart of that intelligence. He also explored how love influences our sense of purpose. According to Hill, when we are driven by love, whether for a person, a cause, or a vision, we are more likely to stay committed, to act with integrity, and to find joy in the process. Love gives our goals meaning beyond material gain. It turns ambition into service and success into significance. This is why Hill encouraged people to align their goals with their values and passions. When we love what we do and why we do it, we become unstoppable. Another profound insight from Hill is that love is a form of energy that can be felt and transmitted. He believed that our emotional state affects not only our own outcomes, but also the people around us. A person who radiates love uplifts others, inspires trust, and creates a ripple effect of positivity. This is especially important in leadership, where emotional tone sets the culture. Hill's message is clear: lead with love and you lead with power. He also warned that the absence of love leads to inner conflict. When we act out of fear, resentment, or selfishness, we create resistance within ourselves. Our thoughts become scattered, our actions lose coherence, and our results suffer. Love, by contrast, brings alignment. It harmonizes our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, allowing us to move through life with clarity and confidence. In Hill's world, love is not a soft or sentimental concept. It is a dynamic force that shapes our destiny. It is the foundation of character, the source of creativity, and the key to lasting fulfillment. Whether we are building a business, nurturing a relationship, or simply trying to live with more purpose, Hill's teachings remind us that love is the most powerful tool we have.